Hi champs, welcome back again to all of you in the another Sunday live session. Okay, so today we are thrilled to have Mr. Swapnil, a cybersecurity expert
Hello, everyone.
and okay, and the co-founder of Fourcore, join us here today. So Mr. Swapnil is a representative of India at the 45th World Skill in cybersecurity skill and has a wealth of knowledge and expertise in each field. So during our session today, Sir will be sharing his valuable insight and expertise on cybersecurity. And if you have any question for him, then please feel free to ask. And we are truly honored to have Sir today. And thank you so much, Sir, for joining us.
Thank you,
So let's
Ankit. You
start.
flattered me a lot.
Okay. So, Sir, we would love to hear more about your journey as a world skill completer. Can you share with us how you progress from the district level competition to the world skill
Sure.
each step?
So, first of all, I will give you a bit of my background. Thank you so much. You have introduced me quite well. So, I am Swapnil and I am from the STEM background. I took computer science as my major while in class 11th and 12th. Now, after that, when I joined college, I got into a computer science degree. In that, I pursued relevant hacking skills. So I started hacking and my journey of cybersecurity from 2017 when I decided to join college and just started participating in competitions. Since then, I formed a team. We used to call it Al Capone. There were eavesdroppers. There were a couple of different teams. We used to participate in various different competitions, which were hosted at national level and international level. Slowly, we grew our skills, and I made quite a few friends, whether from my own college and also from other college. And I fondly remember this one friend, Puneet, who actually one day called me and told me that Swapnil, there's a competition happening. I'm like, okay, so do you want to participate? I was like, sure, let's participate. And I did not know that that competition was actually World Skills Regionals. Now, when Puneet called me and told me that there's a competition, I always thought that we go to various types of competitions, so it would be something like that. Like, okay. So he sent me the registration page. I signed up there. They asked me for my Aadhaar and everything. Cool. And when the competition day happened, okay, it was from like evening 10, evening 9, if I remember correctly, evening 9 to, and it was a 24 to 48-hour competition, but they had like a couple of challenges. And it followed the same basic methodology as every other competition I had participated in. So I quickly finished all the challenges. I was on top of the leaderboard for the 2 days. And I just was like, okay, this could be a very basic national level or some competition, which not a lot of people probably know about. And we finished it. We're like, okay, cool. Let's go about on our days, not expecting anything out of it. We still had no idea what world skills is and what is this competition that I had participated in. After some days, I receive a call that you have been selected for the next level. Like, cool. And you have to come to Aero City. And Aero City is in New Delhi. I live in New Delhi. I previously had a competition there also. So it was, okay, sure. I had to come to Aero City. And Puneet, I was, by the way, on a trip to Jim Corbett with my family. While coming back, and this is the day that we had to report, Puneet calls me, Ki, Swapnil, where are you? I'm like, I'm just coming back, okay. And he's like, "Do you know what we have participated in?" Like, no, it was just a basic competition, right? He's like, no, if you win here, you go to represent India in Russia. I was like, what? No, no, no. What? Repeat it to me. And that's when he told me what world skills was. I quickly Googled it while in the car and I realized, okay, so this is a big deal. I had no idea what world skills was. Fast forward couple of hours, I reach the place, I check out this huge venue that they had made. Every skill was there. There were from floristry to airplane, they had helicopters and everything. And it was a very unique experience as to how big the competition was at India level. And by the way, cybersecurity was happening for the first time in 2019. Okay, and this whole thing, the selection was happening in 2018. Since cybersecurity was happening for the first time, the the selection team had no idea how the competition is supposed to be. So we did not have like a district round, a zonal, and then we go for the regionals, finally nationals. Not like that. There was one single competition which happened across India, and the people who were on top six on the leaderboard were selected and invited directly to the finals. They had an idea that it would probably have a team-based competition or single individual. They at the competition level venue we had the same type of competition just like we had the at the selection round, but it was just a bit more tougher. They had better challenges, tougher challenges, something to pique your interest more. Okay. So after 3 days, I guess, yeah, 3 days of grueling competition, they finally selected three of us. Me, Shubham was the first in the CTF, and Puneet the friend. So there were three of us who were finally selected, but Puneet dropped out because he had to focus on study. He had to focus on work, whereas me and Shubham were students. So we really wanted to continue. And they told us that now you guys would be trained, and after that you would have a competition once again to select which one person will go. Okay, sure. So we were trained by Infosys in Bangalore. We were in Bangalore. They trained us to different subjects, but soon they got to know that it's a team-based competition. So they just clubbed the two of us together. Okay, participate and go together. In those months, Shubham became one of my best friends, and that is like the journey. That was the selection journey, a journey where I had no idea what I was participating in. To ended up getting a medallion of excellence at World Skills. We missed out by 1 point for bronze. That's okay. It was the journey that counts, and that's how I reached there. Now, World Skills was a completely different experience. Cybersecurity wise, I would say that people who have been in the cybersecurity industry, they won't face any challenges per se. It's speed that matters, not the like you will already attain a lot of knowledge if you have been practicing cybersecurity for a long time. Speed is something that you would have to work on, solving the same things faster and quicker. So every day, me and Shubham, so in cyber, you probably would have heard of that there are two types of operating system, Windows and Linux. So I was the one who focused on Linux, and Shubham was the one who focused on Windows, and we divided our tasks accordingly. Anything that was supposed to be done on Windows, it was Shubham's thing, and anything that was supposed to be done on Linux, it was my thing. Now, World Skills has 4 days of competitions, and these 4 days are divided. The first day was infrastructure hardening. What does that mean? So we all have our laptops, computers. But what we can do is we can do basic cyber hygiene to make sure that it's more protected from hackers. And this is what the day one of the competition was supposed to be. You take the machines that you get. You have all kinds of Windows servers, Linux servers, Windows laptops, network secure network devices, for example, firewalls, routers, and you had to configure them accordingly so that there is basic security hygiene. That you have closed off common ports, you have disabled vulnerable services, and things like that, so that you end up as an operating system which is more secure than people usually running it. So once that day is done, They are gonna test if everything has been deployed correctly. For example, there's a website, so you should have SSL on it. If you have FTP, then rather than FTP, there should be a secure FTP being used, stuff like that. Okay, that's day one. So this is where you harden the systems. Next day is incident response. What is that? Companies, when they get hacked, they need to understand where the problem, how they got hacked, and how can you fix things. So this is where infrastructure incident response comes in, where you actually analyze all the hacked machines, that this is how they were hacked. You find out who hacked them, which IP address was used to hack them, what kinds of command did they run. So this was day two. We had to analyze source code, we had to find problems, we had to find vulnerabilities. Now it was a big day. So it was a big day, and we focused a lot on doing getting things done quickly. There were so many challenges. Like, I think it was one of the hardest days because of the number of challenges that were present, not because of their difficulty. Okay, once you're fluent with tools, it's not about the difficulty, it's just how quickly can you analyze and make sense of the data. And incident response is actually one of the things where you have to focus on, if something A happened, if something B happened, are they connected or not? And you have to find relevant, you have to make hypothesis, and you have to find relevant evidence to make that connection. So that was a tough day. The third day was, we call it boot to root or CTF, capture the flag. In this day, what we did was we actually hacked into other machines. So there were a lot of machines set up. And what you had to do was you had to hack into each of these machines and extract out secret information. This is to test whether you can think like how a hacker would think. One of the core concepts in cybersecurity is, if you're defending something, if you're defending your own organization, you should understand how it can be breached. Until and unless you don't understand how you can be breached, you won't be able to defend it. The same goes for something like, let's not talk computers, let's talk something like your own house. If you understand where people can enter into your own house, only then you can put the relevant locks there. If you have no idea that someone can climb down your shaft, you probably are not going to protect it. So to first defend something, you need to understand how it can be attacked. So this was the goal of day three. So boot to root, hacking, capture the flag. In this day, we had like three machines which we had to hack into and extract private information. Now, Shubham is really good at it. So this is the day that Shubham takes the lead. He is the one who understands how to quickly go through it. I mostly work in the defensive side of it. I'm slowly transitioning towards the offensive side. Okay. So Shubham was helping me a lot. He was the one guiding me. This is a focus on this. This could be the problems here. And that was how the day three went. Day four is again not hack into it, but if people are hacking into you, how do you stop it? How do you identify that someone is hacking into you and put up necessary controls to stop them from hacking in? Did you enable the firewall rules? If someone is sending a malicious traffic through, let's say, your website, can your website block that traffic? Stuff like that. So on these days, the malicious traffic that came in contained secret data which we had to extract out. Now, most of the time, when you are in a competition like this, the goal is to win. The goal is to not do it the right way always. The goal is to win. So when the malicious traffic is coming, sometimes you have to get innovative. You might not be able to set up the correct firewall rules all the time. How do you actually identify the malicious data that is coming in? A very simple thing would be all the traffic, capture all the data that is coming in and extract out the relevant by filtering it out of the keywords. So let's say I know that the malicious traffic contains the word malicious. I can just start capturing all the data and extract out all the malicious keywords. So this is how we approached day four. Honest to God, didn't know how day four was supposed to work, but we still managed to land third on the leaderboard just by this simple trick. So that is how the World Skills competition was. apart from that, you also get to experience a lot of things. For example, you are put in a stadium. You have seen that kind of Olympic ways, like there is an opening ceremony and it's a big thing. In the same way, World Skills is also a very big, it is considered as a skill Olympics, which happen every 2 years. Sports Olympic happen every 4 years. Once you have been to World Skills, you cannot go there for the second time. So it's a single journey which you have to make it count. That was the World Skills journey. Came back with lots of goodies, a very, I would say, memorable experience, something that I believe everyone should get to experience. And if you work hard for it, I believe you also can be there at some point. Now, after that, once my World Skills journey ended, it did not end for the national level at least, because now, since I was the first World Skills competitor, I was transitioned to an expert kind of stuff, where I was responsible for setting up regional rounds in some of the regions. For example, in Delhi, which is my home city, I was the one who selected the people who would participate for the regionals. Then I was the one who designed the challenges. Me and my actual expert, Sangamesh from Infosys, we designed the challenges for the regionals and the national level. At national, I was the one evaluating, and we had COVID at that time, so Sangamesh couldn't travel. So I was the one on ground, helping competitors throughout stuff like that. So this is how the journey went through. Now we have a set defined procedure. We will first have a, I guess, zonal or the city level. From there, you transition to regional level. And finally, we transition to the national level. After nationals, you get training, and the two best are selected to finally represent India. I guess the next one is at France, Lyon, France in 2024, which is next year. Yeah. So that is going to be a fun journey. And now that we have two more competitors who have joined the World Skills for cybersecurity, I guess they will also be mentoring students throughout, telling them new things. And I hope that's a good experience. Cybersecurity does not start with just that there is a set defined syllabus. I believe for cybersecurity, you need to have a curious mindset. You need to have a mindset which is kind of not in the right space. Okay. You need a bit of, how do we call it in Hindi? It's like a khurafati dimag. You need to be someone who likes to break things and likes to understand what goes on behind it. Because cybersecurity, people confuse it a lot with lots of very scripts and you have to do a lot of typing and stuff like that. It's not usually like that. Most of the time, you have to just understand how something fundamentally works. Remember your math formulas, they had like a square plus b square equal to c square, and then there were proofs how a square plus b square is actually equal to c square. You get into the fundamentals of it. That's what cybersecurity is. You try to go for fundamentals, understand how something works. Only when you understand something works would you able to find out how to break it. Can I give a little example for this? Yes. Think about it. Let's say you are a developer. Only when you understand how to write in a language, you would be able to understand, like while practicing that language, you will be able to understand the mistakes that you make and how those mistakes can become vulnerabilities and people can use them. So, as a developer, you will have a better understanding and a better chance at becoming a cybersecurity professional. Granted, it's not required to become a hacker. You don't need development experience, but it massively helps if you understand things at a fundamental level, if you have practiced those things. So cybersecurity basically has these four domains. We have infrastructure hardening, we have incident response, we have capture the flag attack, where you attack into them, and capture the flag defense, where you defend the teams. This is basically the world skill syllabus, but I would like you to not limit yourself to that, because cybersecurity actually is very broad. So in cybersecurity, we have these competitions called capture the flags, as you know. So in capture the flags, we have five different categories. We have reverse engineering. The reverse engineering is one where you have all these softwares that you have. What you are going to do with that software is understand how they work at assembly level. You have probably heard of that all computers run on binary. but can you read that binary? Can you make sense out of it? Is what happens in reverse engineering. Then you have exploitation. In case you have been keeping up with the news, a couple of years back there was a Pegasus spyware which attacked a lot of journalists, and it made a big headlines that India is using Pegasus spyware. So exploitation is basically writing code which can hack into other machines. Okay, when you understand how to hack into other machines, you exploit vulnerabilities. For example, if you made a mistake while writing your source code and someone sees that vulnerability and hacks into it, that's called exploitation. Third is forensics. Forensics come under the domain of defensive side, where if someone hacks into you, how do you identify what they did? How will you fix things? We have web, where we talk about specifically website, web apps, the vulnerabilities there, the data that can leak out of that. And finally, we have cryptography. Cryptography is something where you understand how your encryption system works. So you have heard WhatsApp is end-to-end encrypted, but what does end-to-end encrypted means? What kind of data is transferred? How can you break that encryption? This is what cryptography entails. Having a sound knowledge in each of these, I'm not saying you should have a complete knowledge and you should be best in everything, but having a sound knowledge, a basic idea about each of these helps you transition to be a better hacker, because you understand at various levels how things are happening. Sometimes hacking starts with a web application. So you would have this website got breached or this company got breached. Sometimes it starts with a basic web application. Slowly they get in. They had encrypted data, but since the hackers had knowledge of encryption, they decrypted the data. So for that, you need cryptography. To breach the web application, you needed exploitation. And the team that is responsible for defending it, they need forensics and a bit of these skills so that they can understand what happened. So these five domains are really important, and you do not need to be a master of one or all of these, but try to find your niche. That okay, I like cryptography a lot, I like exploitation a lot, and focus there. There are a few websites. For example, we have a website called Pico CTF. If you Google Pico CTF, you will find a lot of these challenges, which starts at very basic elementary level, not elementary school level, but very basic challenges. And you can learn these, go to these websites, learn the practice these challenges, and slowly just raise your skill level. So Pico CTF is one of those. Try Hack Me, Hack the Box. Cybersecurity is growing and the need is really important. Like we have shortage of cybersecurity skilled professionals. Even in my startup, I will talk about it, we struggle to find talented people who can join our team and know what they're doing. So it takes a lot of effort to find people who are talented, who understand cybersecurity in the way that we want it to understand fundamentally, not just be able someone who are able to run tools. Anyone can run tools. I can program a robot to run tools. I want you to actually understand what cybersecurity is. And if you understand what cybersecurity and the fundamentals behind it is, then my friend, you are on a path to great success, because a lot of people don't. So focus your studying around these subjects. Start with a basic understanding of exploitation, reverse engineering, forensics, cryptography, web app hacking, and see what interests you the most. Then there are, of course, these websites which give you experience in all of these five domains. And practice, see if you like it. Don't leave the other ones. Also practice them a bit. And you will have resumes and blog posts. Make blog posts. Okay, when you learn something new, something interesting, make a blog post out of it, describe things, because when you put them on your resume, it looks very attractive to recruiters or people who are hiring, because they have gone through the same journey. They've gone through the same journey of learning things themselves, putting it out on the blog post. And when we see someone else also doing it, we check out how they have written, what they have learned, what kind of information did they portray. And sometimes that's how we choose that, okay, let's interview this person. So your resume would just become automatically more appealing than any others that come on the way. That is basically the cybersecurity journey. I've been doing it since 2017, participating in various different competitions. I have a team right now. So the team, I also founded a startup which is called Fourcore. It's founded by me, Arush and Hardik. These are my two college friends who I met in college and I participated in competitions together. So these people who I was going in competitions with, now I have a startup with. I worked with. We have a collective cumulative experience of like a lot of different companies: Infosys, Payatu, NTRO, Episource, Bell, Bharat Electronics Limited, and we have done these kinds of security consulting and stuff like that. So we kind of understood how the problems are, even in companies like Infosys or Payatu, which are from very big enterprises to startups which are really coming up. We see the security issues that these companies even face. So that's where we built Fourcore. Fourcore is a company which right now focuses on security control validation. Okay, security control validation, big word. What does that really mean? In very simple terms, you have your laptop, okay, and you have some kind of antivirus on it. Let's say Kaspersky, Windows Defender, McAfee. How much do you trust that antivirus? If I ask you to, how much do you trust? 69%, 100%, 0%, 20%? What would be the number you have no idea what to. Because your security is not tested until you get breached. How will you define that your home is secure? You have put in enough locks, you have locked all the doors, but until and unless someone tries to get in and is stopped, you will not know how secure your systems really are. So, a fundamental concept of cybersecurity is that you will never be able to test how your organization is until and unless you put them through the same threats. The actual hackers that come across from the world to your systems, can you test your security before they breach you? That's what we do at Fourcore. We have a platform which allows organizations to actually test how secure their organization is against the same hackers that are going to come and hack them. So they start with a phishing mail. They send you a phishing mail. Hey, can you click here? We send those phishing mails automatically to see if your systems can detect it's a phishing mail. If your system cannot detect the phishing mail and it lands in your inbox, then that's a problem one. Okay. If you click on it and download something malicious, can your antivirus that is present on the system stop it? We do that to check if the antivirus can stop it. If not, then can it detect it while it's running? So these, and once we have the complete information, we give it to the organization. Not give it as in present it on the platform, and the organization can have a look. They can see, okay, these are the problems that I have. Then we suggest them this is how you can fix it. All of them have some detection rules so that you can detect next time it happens. And this is what we are trying to do. We are trying to help organizations slowly build up their security posture. That I understand that this was a problem, my security posture at that level. If I fix this problem, it will slightly be raised from here to here. And slowly, slowly, while you do it, you improve the security of your own organization. And if people who are in cybersecurity are watching this, we would love to have your resume. Drop them at Swapnil at fourcore.io. Okay. I think Ankit can leave a link, leave a text on the chat. But Swapnil
Yeah,
at
sure.
fourcore.io, and send me your resume. I would love to have talented people. And definitely this is basically my cybersecurity journey. We started Fourcore in 2021. It's 2023, 3 years. We have customers. We have had massive traction. We are so a lot of people are interested at what we are building, and a lot of people have seen results from what we are building. Reach out to us if you love cybersecurity. Talk to me about it. And that is basically it. That was my journey of world skills and then coming to make our own startup.
Yeah. So
If you guys
great to hear.
have, yeah, sorry, Ankit, please continue.
Ah, okay. So any type of fear you face during the competition, you would love to hear.
Okay, yeah. So, day four was scary. Day four was scary because we had no idea. Okay, day four, by the way, was the capture the flag defense, where people were attacking into the organization. That is something that I have never faced before or like ever practiced. It was something like completely new to me. We had no idea how it was supposed to be done, like zero clue what is the actual way to approach this. Imagine you are just sitting on your desk and suddenly you start getting swarms of data, people like random attacks are coming in. First of all, the first thing is that you get frightened what is happening. Before you start making sense, you will start to panic. Kind of happened to us for the 1 hour. We were clueless and we were seeing people just rise up on the scoreboard and had no idea how. So at that point of time, it was not about playing by the rules and how the expected solution is. We have no idea what the expected solution is or how to figure do it. That was scary initially, but then you don't need to look for the expected solution. You can solve if you are doing things and you're achieving the same results. Sometimes in a competition, that's what matters. So rather than doing it the way that people expected us to do, which by the way, I still have no idea how to. I still have no idea. Nobody cleared it out. And while talking to the other competitors, they did the same way that we did it. So was it the right method? No, nobody knew what was the right method. Now, how did we do it? So as I told, when the data comes in, and we know that we have to specifically look for a certain type of data, then we can start dumping the data. There is a firewall from which all the traffic was coming in, and the firewall was not configured. The goal was to configure the firewall some way to stop, detect the traffic stuff like that. But when the traffic is coming in from a single firewall, what we started to do was download the traffic. And from that traffic that we downloaded, we searched for these we knew that the malicious string would start with malicious, and this is the malicious string that we had to submit on the platform to get the score. So we started downloading the data and just started searching for malicious. Opened the data in Notepad, Control F, malicious, to find any string which starts with malicious, and we just started submitting it to the platform. That was the challenge, apparently, that you had to submit these malicious strings, identify and submit. Worked out, but yes, it was very panicky. On day two, which was the incident response, we didn't finish all the challenges because of the time, but that was a bit of a issue because we had no idea. There were 20 GB machines which we had to download, set up, and then forensically analyze. And it was scary because we did not have time. Even after trying, panicking, how many we will be able to finish, stuff like that. So the fear is there, okay, because you of course know that you are whatever you are going to do, it's going to be reflected at a global stage. You need to be someone who needs to put the best foot forward, and you know that your performance would be seen by everyone and it would be used to judge your country. So yes, there's a fear there, but it's important to not panic per se and try to find your way around it. If you understand, I would say, the basics, you would be able to do things which maybe the others have thought of, maybe they don't, but you end up solving it. Not the right way, not the wrong way either.
Okay, so some more questions. One
Yeah.
is, what inspired you to start the company, your startup?
Okay. So while working with a lot of security companies, one, I realized that even in security companies, security is broken. Sometimes even they don't follow the necessary security hygiene. And to get people to use the security hygiene, you need to tell them what's the problem. If I tell you, Ankit, that you should use a 20 character password, your first question would be like, why?
Right.
Sure, I should use it, but why? What will it do? And if I'm not using it, what is the problem? So security is something that hampers people's productivity. If before logging into the website you have to enter a password and then you have to wait for a OTP, the OTP comes, you put that in, maybe you missed it, and then the OTP expires, captcha. So security has always been like against productivity. You need to find a right balance. You cannot have too much security, otherwise it will hamper productivity, and you cannot have zero security where productivity is at peak but nothing is secure. You need to find a right balance where security and productivity goes hand in hand. Even in security startups, we did not see that happening. And I am someone who understands that cybersecurity seems like very magical and complicated to people. Oh, you are a hacker. Can you hack my Instagram? Is one of the first questions. Explain why I cannot, because they have, it's hard because they have already considered me a magician. They have, so movies have portrayed a picture where I am just typing here and everything is just opening up, the virus is going in, but it's not like that. So this is what inspired me to start my company. I want to simplify cybersecurity, and I wanted to simplify it at a level where people who shouldn't be caring about cybersecurity, for people who want to just do get their work done, they shouldn't be bothered with, oh, how does this work, why should I have this password. It should be very easy for them to understand the problems if they don't put a 20 character password, the problems if they don't install an antivirus. So this is one of the primary reasons. The second reason was that I was actually a very 9 to 5 person, but when I worked at these places, I realized that a lot of talent is not appreciated. In fact, rather than being appreciated, you might just be, the other person might just demotivate you. There's no point of this talent, stuff like that. So I don't think I'm, after that experience, I am someone who's made for a 9 to 5. Maybe at some advanced team, some startups which focus solely on security. But right now, yeah, that was the reason, the second reason why I have my own startup, because I wanted to do things my way.
Okay. So some of the challenges which you have faced along the way during your startup.
Okay, yeah. So one of the biggest challenge is that, okay, not the challenge, I will tell you what people think is hard versus what is not hard. Me and my co-founders, we are all technical people. We have a lot of experience, which means building a product was not the hard thing. Okay, we can any day build a product, writing code to make it do something. We are very well versed in it, we can do that. What we are not inclined to do it is business. Business is something that we had to learn for the next couple of years. So like 2021 to 2023, we started learning how to do business. We started learning what people's needs are really and how to express them through our products, how to actually understand their problems, solve them, and make a sale. Business is something that was actually stumped us. We, when you are writing code, the code doesn't lie. If it tells you this is the problem, this is the problem, you fix it, it's fine. But when you talk to people, people lie. Do you like our product? They will give a very diplomatic answer. Yes, it's very amazing. You would be, we would love to try it. When would you love to try it? We will get back to you. So when you are working in a market, you need to understand how the people are, the culture that there is, and you have to adapt accordingly. Technical skills, code doesn't change, markets change. If we are trying to sell in India, it would have a very different approach than, let's say, we are trying to sell in US or Europe or Dubai. So you need to really understand the mentality, the culture of people, what kind of people buy your products, understand the target audience, and stuff like that, which we are not really prepared for. We were engineers, not people from the MBA background. But 2 years with my co-founders who worked hard on specifically this aspect that we need to sell the product was something that was very enlightening, a very new side, huge respect on the way that salespeople do their jobs. And one thing that changed was like, now when I get a call, hello, क्या आप एक credit card खरीद लेंगे? Rather than directly cutting it, I say, I'm sorry, I don't need it. So that changed, and that was a new experience, newfound respect for some people.
So many people are interested to starting their career in the cybersecurity. So what advice would you give to someone who wants to pursue their path, and what skills or qualification would they need?
Okay, so Cybersecurity is an industry that is maturing, but it's still not at a level where they know what they really need. Every day there's something new. So I would say do not limit yourself if you are not in, let's say, a STEM background, science background, BC or stuff like that. Even if you're from arts background, economics, if computers interest you, cybersecurity interests you, you can start. To start with, there are some YouTube channels, for example, Live Overflow. There are some challenges, for example, Pico CTF. Start by trying to understand how computers work. Start by writing a little code and then try to break it. Start by being a bit creative. There is no set path that you can take. The path is very much a however you like it and however you want to make it journey. Cybersecurity is a lot of space for everyone. Whether you are a developer who is looking to start making security products, or whether you are a student who is just looking to solve challenges. When you start in college, there are a lot of competitions happening across the globe. Pico CTF being the one of the one. In India, you have Cybersecurity Awareness Week, which is organized by New York University, and IIT Kanpur is one of the members which hosts the India Finals. Participate in that. Find a team. Actually, it's very necessary to find similar minded people who would do those challenges with you so that they can keep you motivated. Find a friend, find someone who would be interested. Start with them. While in my journey, I found this one friend, a friend from school, who was also interested in cybersecurity. So this is how my journey started. I had someone who I can have a basic competition with. Okay, let's study this together and let's solve these challenges together. And then when I went to college, I found my college mates who were interested in cybersecurity. So a journey could involve you just starting as a developer, learning how to code, or you can go to these websites. For example, Pico CTF, try Hack Me to practice those challenges. Read about cybersecurity news, what is happening in the world. Wired has some really great articles of some of the biggest hacks that happened. Read those hacks that happened Wired. Go through it, see if that interests you. Find some words which might look very complicated. Oh, what does it mean? Google them and build your curiosity rather than trying to do a rote learning that we promote in Indian culture. In Indian culture, we have a just learn this and you would be able to clear exams. It's not about clearing exams. Cybersecurity is definitely not like that. In this, you really need creativity. You really need to push yourself. Sometimes there are going to be sleepless nights where you don't understand anything. You might feel bad, but don't give up. Try, ask for help, join communities. There are a lot of communities. For example, in India, we have DEFCON, various different DEFCON groups. We have various Discord groups. Join them. Find someone, ask for help, practice. You can even just go on Reddit, search for what kind of groups can I join them, see what people talk about, see what interests you, ask them, hey, I'm interested in this, can you someone help me out? They will point you to very specific resources which you can then start. If you're interested in reverse engineering, they'll point you to the book Practical Malware Analysis, stuff like that. If you want to know how a virus works, Google how a virus works. Whatever thoughts and little things or just questions you had, Google them and try to find answers. And that will lead you to a rabbit hole. Follow that rabbit hole. Cybersecurity is that rabbit hole where you start with a basic question: why can you not remove a virus but an antivirus can remove it? That's a very basic question, right? Why do I need an antivirus? Why can I not just delete the file? Start with that, and it will lead you to a journey which you will enjoy if you are interested in cybersecurity. Basic things: read blogs, just get to know what is happening, search around. That kind of curiosity will put you on a path. It will put you on a path where you would be able to enjoy cybersecurity rather than get stuck or bored by it. Try to find that kind of interest.
Okay. So thank you so much, Swapnil, for joining us. Great to hear you, and there is more to learn from you.
Thank you,
And by
Ankit,
the
for
way, some of my
inviting me.
favorite lines from this conversation, which I want to repeat.
Okay.
The first one is building a product is not the hard thing, but understanding the market is the hard.
Yeah.
And the
That is
one another
true.
thing, the aim in the competition is to win.
Yeah.
And the last your example to understand cybersecurity with the help of the house example. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us and your conversation.
Thank you so much, Ankit, for inviting me. I'm really glad to be here, and I'm glad to be able to share my experiences on this platform.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
So thank you so much, Guy, for joining us. If you want to more session like this, then don't forget to the subscribe button. Bye. See you in the next session.